Okay, we are live. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yenai Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master is opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him again and again and again. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamagyam Dadati Swam Padantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Putale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. That's Srila Prabhupada's pranati. I offer my respectful obeisances unto his divine grace, always cool Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter of his lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, or spiritual master, servant of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 42, the breaking of the sacrificial bow, verses 15 through 22. 15 through 22. Verse 15. Tata Puran Prichamano Danu Sastanam Achyuta Tasmin Pravisto Dadrishe Danur Aindram Eva Bhutam. Aindram, it has Aindram, that of Lord Indra, Aindram. Translation by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna then asked the local people where the arena was in which the bow sacrifice would take place. When he went there, he saw the amazing bow, which resembled Lord Indra's. Verse 16. That most opulent bow was guarded by a large company of men who were respectfully worshipping it. Krishna pushed his way forward and, despite the guard's attempts to stop him, picked it up. Jai, how wonderful is Krishna. Verse 17, translation. Easily lifting the bow with his left hand, Lord Urukrama. Urukrama, I looked that up. It means broadly stepping. It refers to Krishna's incarnation as Lord Vamanadev, whose steps were gigantic. So Lord Urukrama, Krishna, those whose deeds are incredible, glorious. Lord Urukrama strung it in a fraction of a second as the king's guards looked on like that. He then powerfully pulled the string and snapped the bow in half, just as an excited elephant might break a stalk of sugar cane. See, Krishna strung it and broke it. Jai. The sound of the bows breaking filled the earth and sky in all directions. Upon hearing it, Kamsa was struck with terror. Verse 19. The enraged guards then took up their weapons and, wanting to seize Krishna and his companions, surrounded them and shouted, "Grab him! Kill him!" Text 20. Seeing the guards coming upon them with evil intent, Balaram and Keshava took up the two halves of the bow and began striking them down. Jai. Text 21. After also killing a contingent of soldiers sent by Kamsa, Krishna and Balaram left the sacrificial arena by its main gate and continued their walk about the city, happily looking at the opulent sights. Text 22. Having witnessed the amazing deed Krishna and Balaram had performed, and seeing their strength, boldness, and beauty. So Krishna and Balaram have strength, boldness, and beauty. The people of the city thought they must be two prominent demigods. So those are the verses. See, the prediction of the gopis has been fulfilled. The residents of Mathura, Kamsa's capital, were enjoying the beautiful sight of Krishna and Balaram performing wonderful things. But because they were thinking that Krishna was a powerful demigod. That's how a simple villager sees Krishna, as a powerful demigod. They don't see him as a supreme personality of Godhead. They see him as a powerful demigod. Okay. So, would anyone like to reflect on anything that has been read so far? I'm going to make a stop every 10 minutes for
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Jeffrey Prabhu.
Yes, I like that, like, the whole melee sort of happens, and then Krishna and Balaram go about their way, observing the city, and it's kind of interesting in like kind of comparison to the teachings of the Gita, and like to not be attached, not be disturbed. They deal with what they deal with, and then they go about their way. I like that. And they're also very practical and pragmatic. They broke the bow, but then they each had a weapon.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada was like that. When there was a need for him to be intense, then he was intense. But then right next minute, Srila Prabhupada was again kind, compassionate, accommodating spiritual master, the father to all the boys and girls. So Srila Prabhupada used anger, used those intense emotions to guide his disciples. Akeshwara Prabhu, good to see you. Venisha, Hare Krishna.
I just say something very simple again as a neophyte. I think it's always important for me to remember that when Krishna and Balaram are killing, they're liberating. Because like to begin, when you first read it, there's this like cognitive dissonance, like, oh, what about ahimsa? Why are they killing people? But that they're liberating them. Hare Krishna. Simple point. Thank you.
Yeah, very important point, Venisha. Thank you. Adipusha Prabhu, that Prabhuji that is messing with the phone, what's his name? He gave class once. It was a wonderful class. I'm sure he has a contribution. Yeah? What's the difficulty? Let me ask you to unmute. Ask to unmute. Say yes. Unmute.
Hare
Okay.
Who's speaking? Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, we can hear you.
Yeah, well, all I can say is I'm sure glad Krishna is on our side. We have to choose. It says, be you for me or against me, and no man can serve two masters. So when you see how effortlessly Krishna does all these amazing things, it's a good idea to say, I'm with him 100%.
Thank you. Yeah, we're with Krishna. Yeah, you're right. He's doing everything effortlessly. Jamuna Jaya.
Can
Followed
you
by
hear me?
Bhima
I've been
Prabhu.
having a lot of trouble with my audio. Can I be
We can
heard?
hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Yay. Um, I was just a couple things that reflect what already been said. I just love that Krishna is the ultimate cool cat. It's like take care of business and then strolls about the city looking at the sights. It's so sweet and so very faith affirming. And then it also is faith affirming. And it's like he snapped this bow, he fights off these people. What can Krishna not do? And sometimes when we're like, oh, I'm so fallen, oh, this or that or that or the other thing, it's always a reminder. I've just been reading this book by Mahatma Das, and he's been really showing us about that a lot in this text, is that we are not so fallen ever that Krishna can't lift us up. Krishna can do anything. And sometimes when in our completion of low self-esteem with humility, we're like, oh, and I'm so low, there's nothing can be done. But Krishna can do anything, and there's never a thing that we have or trouble we have that Krishna can't ultimately uplift us. So it's just another one of those faith giving times. Like, look what he can do. And then also one more thing, the prayer of like, please, Krishna, smash the bow of pride in my heart, just as you smashed that one. So Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Jamuna Jaya. I was just thinking about that. How Kubja, the hunchback lady, she wasn't just thinking of herself that, oh, I'm unworthy. I'm gonna go hide in the bushes. Look at me and look at Krishna. No, she stepped forward and offered her ointment to Krishna and Balaram. So let's not be shy and let's offer whatever it is that we can offer to Krishna. Let's go for it. That's false ego that you described, Jamuna Jaya.
Yeah, that word bold is used right in the last verse. I think that's an important one, right?
Yeah,
Bold.
strength, boldness, and beauty.
Yeah, and for us, sort of boldness in our service.
Yeah. Well, once Indradumna Maharaj, he shared how Prabhupada told him what humility was. And Prabhupada told him that humility is, I hope I'm not screwing it up. Humility is chanting Hare Krishna and sharing bhakti boldly. Preach boldly and chant the holy name. That's humility. So in bhakti, humility is boldness. And I see that Bhima kidnapped Das and Domi. Where are you taking them, Bhima? Unmute yourself.
Where am I taking them? I have no idea. I'm lost. So
Yeah, see, it's marathon. Be careful. Everything is blocked. You can get stuck. Just take subway.
Right. What do I do?
Take subway.
Yeah. I can't fit the van through the doors. Okay.
Okay, all right. Drive safely, Bhima Prabhu. But it's blocked. Everything is blocked.
Lost. Being humble when you're lost and when to ask directions.
Yeah. Being humble when you're lost. Yeah, that's right. That's us. So I was reading about the attack that those guards attempted on Krishna. I thought of another attack that happened in our Sampradaya, a murderous attack on Srila Prabhupada's guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in the year 1925, dear devotees. They were doing, hold on, Jeffrey Eckler says something, and pray on my behalf that utterance may be given to me in the opening of my mouth to make known with boldness the mystery of the gospel. Yeah, nice. Nice. Thank you, Jeffrey Eckler, for who. So, Srila Prabhupada's guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was leading a pilgrimage in the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, and that area already had its own kind of local zonal saints, and they were treating Lord Chaitanya, that area, as their turf, as their business, and they weren't happy that this group of devotees, that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was distributing bhakti so freely to people who did not belong to the proper caste, to women and so forth. So he was facing a great deal of opposition to the parikrama. I hope Kishore Chandra will not face anything of that sort when he leads the Bhakti Center Parikram in January. So Gauda Mandala Parikrama was followed by the 5th annual Navadvip Dham Parikrama. That's in Mayapur, Navadvip, Mayapur, that area, during which the smoldering opposition of the caste Goswamis, the people who believe that bhakti can be inherited just by the fact of a certain birth, came to a head. Srila Saraswati Thakur had fearlessly and consistently contested the nefarious practices of false devotees, such as charging temple entrance fees. Right? We don't have temple fees at the Bhakti Center. Adipurusha Prabhu doesn't charge for his kirtan, so he's not a false devotee. So such as charging temple entrance fees, performing kirtan, and reciting Srimad Bhagavatam for monetary gain, dear devotees, and becoming gurus by profession. Right? What's your profession, Bhima Prabhu? Okay, let's not distract him. So, furthermore, his propaganda that Mayapur was the actual site of Lord Chaitanya's birthplace was increasingly harming a quasi-religious was increasingly harming the business of the temple proprietors of Navadvip. The previous year, by organizing a quasi-religious meeting adjacent to the parikrama during its stopover in Kulia, local caste Goswamis had ineffectually attempted to divert attention away from the parikram. So they were doing their parikram, and the caste Goswamis arranged their own event to divert attention away from the parikram. Thereafter, tension between the two parties remained high, and conflict seemed inevitable. In defiance of the wobbly hegemony of the professed Goswamis, on 4th March 1925, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati again marched into their stronghold, Kulia, along with 600 to 700 followers, including many women, accompanying the small Sri Radha Govinda deities riding on an elephant. That was the parikram. I'm picturing Kishore Chandra riding an elephant, carrying the deities on his head. After resting in midday in a dharmashal, it's like a motel, dharmashal, in the evening, the party reassembled at the spot where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was to give class. Shortly after the pilgrims arrived, some roadies showered dust, dirt, gravel, cow dung, and garbage on them and demanded that they stop chanting Hare Krishna. A local caste Goswami entered among the group and tried to incite a quarrel. See, but we as Vaishnavas, we don't argue with fools. But the parikram participants remained calm, and to avoid an affray, whatever that is, dispersed into the dusk. They briskly returned to the dharmashal, being threatened as they went. Considering that the parikram would not be complete without hearing about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu had enacted in that place, See, parikrama is not about walking back and forth, taking selfies. It's about hearing about Krishna, about the pastimes that Krishna had in that area. The next morning, 100 to 200 pilgrims, mostly males, returned to the place where they had been intimidated the previous evening. While Shrimat Tirtha Maharaj, that's another sannyasi, while he was lecturing, a gang of ruffians suddenly appeared and pelted brickbats at the elephant's trunk. Wow. They started harassing the poor elephant. Parikrama attendees admonished the aggressors to desist from the offensive act of harassing the deity's mount, the elephant. And to their surprise, the rogues departed. But minutes later, they returned, wielding larger sticks, which they had kept ready in proximate shops. The defenseless pilgrims, Bhima Prabhu is like, I wish I was there. I wish I was there. So the defenseless pilgrims quickly brought the deities of Shri Shri Radha Govinda down in their midst, thinking that surely these felons would not continue their atrocities in the direct presence of the Lord. Then a well-known rich man of Navadvip drove up in a car and barked out an order, upon which ruthless blackguards lurking nearby, some perched on rooftops, left forth a volley of brickbats. Krishna. The elephant was quickly maneuvered away from the trouble, but escape was not easy for the pilgrims. So they took the elephant away, but it was not easy to escape. For the pilgrims, it wasn't easy. Some found shelter in homesteads, yet most doors remained shut. The few brave householders who dared offer refuge had their doors kicked and beaten on. Some devotees fled down adjacent alleys. So they started running away. Those who besieged local coachmen to transport them were scornfully refused and became further aghast to behold the horse carts loaded with stones as ammunition. The few devotees who tried to fight back were outnumbered and beleaguered. Beleaguered. Bhakti Sharanga Prabhu was captured, yet remained undaunted, asserting himself boldly. See, we assert ourselves boldly. Even though threatened to be offered as a human sacrifice on the spot. I hope that doesn't happen to Kishore Chandra. A few devotees suffered severe gashes and fractures. A youth was knocked unconscious. Mridangas and banners were broken. And Kunja Bihari Prabhu was robbed of 600 rupees. And his winter clothing, oh my goodness. But although Navadvip streets became stained by the blood of Vaishnavas, by Lord Narasimha Dev's grace, none were killed. Srila Saraswati Thakur had escaped due to the adroitness of Vinod Bihari Brahmachari, who had entreated a reluctant house owner to give them entry. Therein, Vinod Bihari, being similar in size and appearance to his Guru Dev, swapped his white clothing with the red of his Guru Maharaj. See, they swapped clothing. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was wearing white robes, white attire. And that Vinod Bihari was wearing his orange attire. With great risk, he then escorted Srila Saraswati Thakur back to Mayapur. As was later revealed by sympathetic local residents, the attack had been planned by certain caste Goswamis who most grossly offended both the deities and the acclaimed Acharya, the teacher, by hiring criminals to perpetrate violence on pilgrims engaged in peacefully chanting Harinam in the holy place, who should have been received as guests in the sacred Dham, the holy place. So then the story and news of the assault spread through Bengal, the province of Bengal. Learned circles protested in magazines and newspapers. So see, the media, the educated people sided with the devotees. 4 days later, Ananda Bazar Patrika quoted an eyewitness. I witnessed the reenactment of what Jagai and Madai did to Sri Nityananda Prabhu over 400 years ago. Subsequently, the chief police inspector of Navadvip was cashiered, and the next year, the Parikram party was protected by an escort of 36 policemen. It's like the Rath Yatra in New York, this police escort. Srila Saraswati Thakur mentioned the episode in his commentary on Sri Chaitanya Bhagavatam. A few days ago in Nagara, some persons, with the help of a few fierce miscreants, rather than offering respect, unfairly attacked innocent Vaishnava sannyasis, brahmacharis, and devotee women, all of whom had come to participate in circumambulating the Dham. All these are simply unfavorable activities against the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Dev. However, when urged to press charges against the hooligans, Srila Saraswati Thakur declined, saying that they had done service. Otherwise, how could the Gaudiya Math have been featured on the front pages of all the newspapers? Srila Prabhupada once said that there's no such thing as bad publicity. When they brought him an article where Krishna consciousness movement wasn't being portrayed favorably, but Krishna's name was there, mentioned several times, and that's what mattered to Srila Prabhupada. If the holy name is there, then it's good, then it's favorable. So that's the mood that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had. We're mentioned on the front pages, that's good, that's service. Even in hooligans, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was seeing service that they had done inadvertently. So that's a lesson for us. If there is opposition, then we should do do the needful, but ultimately that's service. It keeps us sober. It keeps us in shape, right? If there's no obstacles, then where is surrender? Where is effort? Where is sacrifice? If there is no, we're going against the current, and that's the beauty of the movement. Okay. Would anyone like to reflect on the murderous attack pastime? Adipurusha Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhupada says there's a current of the material world. Imagine a river with a current flowing in a particular direction. And what Bhagavatam says is these literatures are meant to bring about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. So if we go against the current, we can expect that there's going to be some splash, right? There's going to be some resistance. And if we just kind of blend in, if we keep too low a profile, trying not to disturb anyone, naturally we don't want to disturb anyone, but it's inevitable that some people will say, oh, Prabhupada came and they said, oh, this is a cult, this is a brainwash, this is some kind of, kidnapping, coercion of young people, because he was recommending ahaitukya pratiyata, unceasing, unmotivated devotional service to Krishna. the current is going in one direction, and then even within religious circles, there is a lukewarm, come on Sunday, practice for a little while in the morning, and then go about mundane activity. So when Prabhupada said, no, move in, join up, give yourself, whole day, no gap philosophy, go from one service to another service to another service. And just like we were saying that we're glad Krishna was on our side when we see his wondrous, powerful activities, the current is to think that I cannot exist just by serving Krishna. I have to do other things to maintain myself. Right? There's actually a philosophy like that we have to get a job. We got to get a job. But somehow or other, there's another philosophy that says, no, give yourself to devotional service, and everything you need will be there. And that's a very radical concept. And therefore, when Prabhupada preached, give yourself to devotional service, people attacked him, criticized him. There was litigation. There was tremendous, bitter, ferocious publicity against the Hare Krishna movement. But Prabhupada was untouched and fearless and continued to say, no, it's actually possible to serve Krishna. And for a Brahmin, for an initiated devotee, to work at a karmi job is forbidden. Of course, there's exceptions to every rule. And even when we first started, Prabhupada was, for example, Brahmananda was working as a teacher, and he said, but then give your salary. If you're working for the karmi job, then the Lakshmi that's generated should go to push on the preaching, so that it's not just fruit of work. So this is kind of radical, and not everyone will agree, but as far as I know, that's what Prabhupada told us. Unceasing, unmotivated devotional service to Krishna is the only thing that will satisfy the self. And of course, on a temporary basis, we might have some other thing, but to maintain that, and to defend that, and to not plan, how do I get out of this, like Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they had a great job. They were administrators in the government, highly placed, executives, and they ran away. Prabhupada had a business, and somehow or other Krishna collapsed the business. So we believe that Krishna, who's floating all the planets in space, can sustain his devotees. If you join the army, they give you boots, they give you socks, they give you underwear, they give you a gun, they give you a tank, they give you medical care, they give you food. When you join the army, you get everything from the army arrangement. If you join Lord Chaitanya's movement, at least we've heard that if we join in Krishna consciousness, the Lord will carry what we lack and preserve what we have. And we may be able to apply this immediately or not, but even these days, just to hear it, sometimes we are criticized. What are you talking about? What are you, fanatic? Why do you have to give so much? Why not just come on Sunday? Anyway, maybe I'm talking too much, but Lord, we're talking about devotees being attacked simply for preaching purely and dedicated to the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So there will be some splashing if we go against the current, or even if we speak about going against the current. At least that's what I've heard. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm speaking too harshly.
Anisha has given you a heart. What is the Sanskrit word for bold? Hold on, Jamunajaya. So it's verse 10, 14, 42. The word for boldness. So teja is strength. Hold on. Pragal Pragalbyam, pragalbyam, Jamunaja, unmute yourself and say it. Pragalbyam.
Pragaldium.
Nice. So that's boldness.
Great.
Pragalbyam.
Pragaldium.
Yeah. Yeah. It only mentioned 2 times in the Bhagavatam. Pragalbyam, boldness. Ingenuity. It's also translated as ingenuity in the first canto. Okay. So yeah, Krishna consciousness, this going against the current may play out differently for different people at different stages of their lives. But the mood is ahutikya pratiyata, unceasing, unmotivated devotional service. That's the mood. And then it takes maturity, intelligence, and guidance of your of the people that you take inspiration from, who are further, who are a little bit more advanced. How that applies in your situation. We don't want to act recklessly and, renounce prematurely. So that's just one reservation that I'd like to.
We can desire appropriately.
Yeah.
We can
What?
hear. We can desire.
Yeah.
No
Thank you.
cost.
Yeah. Yeah, we can desire. Desire, consult senior devotees, and then do it.
My mother said to me, Adi, you haven't had a paycheck in 4 or 5 decades. Why don't you get a job? Why don't you get a real job like your sister's husband? He works for the phone company. I have a retirement system. And if you got a real job like your sister's husband, that would be a good. I said, Mom, I'm working for God. He's not going out of business. Right? It's dangerous, and it's radical, and it's unheard of. Even to speak like that is considered to be somehow or other too pushy or anything. But of course, anybody can start anywhere to give something. Come once, come Sunday, come, get a book, give a donation. But the idea is to progress and to desire to give yourself completely to Krishna. Like
Thank you, Adipurusha Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, speaking too much.
Jeffrey Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Just thinking about the kind of theme word of the morning and being bold. And I'm going to reveal how nerdy I am right now, but Star Trek has that intro from like the original show where it's like, to boldly go where no man has gone before, and we have this kind of concept where you're only bold if you're individualistic and if you're the leader, but this is really a boldly follow, and that is an interesting kind of dichotomy, to be bold but also to follow. And I think that's isn't it just so like Krishna to give us, kind of conflicting directions. So interesting to be bold and humble, to be boldly humble. That's a tickler for the rest of the day today.
I think it follows Adi's analogy of the army, right? If you're in the army and you're in battle, you need to be bold, but you're still following, right? You're part of a larger organization that's asking you to be bold, but you're following. You're inherently following. I agree. It's a super interesting tension. I love thinking about it. Hare Krishna. I'm also taking with me that God never goes out of business.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, somehow or other, if we're desiring that situation where we can kind of minimize our, commitment to people who aren't necessarily Vaishnavas, then Krishna, over time, Krishna grants that desire.
It also makes me think, though, on a mundane level, that as devotees, especially of the generation of Srila Prabhupada, become older, that we need to take care of them, right? They've given their lives to the movement, and there isn't a retirement system necessarily. So that's very inspiring too, Adi. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vanisha. Yeah, we need to, this is a movement, collective effort. We need to take care of each other. We need to be there for each other when we need it. Adipusha Prabhu once said to me that he wants to die on the battlefield, right? Is that your retirement? The battlefield, yes. He's not retiring. We're not going to spoon feed him.
Sticking out of the front, not out of the back.
Yeah, and that's glorious. That's glorious. That's what I want.
Prabhupada
Before
did,
Krishna, what's that?
Prabhupada did like that right to the last breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
We told that story recently. Oh, it's like 8 o'clock. The guy going across Niagara Falls on the tight. You know that story?
Yeah.
With the tightrope
Jump.
all the way from the American side to the Canadian side, and he was going across, and then everybody was cheering. There were people on both sides, and he made it. He said, "Now I'm going back again. I'm going to do blindfolded. Can I do it?" He said, "Yeah, you can do it. You can." So he went across again. It was so dramatic, way up in the air. The wind was blowing, and he's blindfolded, and he get across one more time, and everybody was cheering. You did it. You did it. He said, "Now I'm going back another time." And this time, blindfolded with somebody on my shoulders. Can I do it? And they said, "Yes, yes, you can do it." And then he said, "Okay, who's going to go on my shoulders?"
Jeffrey Eckler will go. Jeffrey Eckler will go. Yeah. See, he's surrendering to Krishna. Yeah, okay, darshan time. Please turn on your cameras if you can. Be bold. Be bold. Turn on your camera. You had enough time to put on your makeup or whatever. Vanisha, thank you. Poppy, thank you. Beautiful tilak. Look, she's wearing a tilak. Nice. That's a Vaishnavi. Vasudev Prabhu. We got a side glance from Vasudev Prabhu. That's very auspicious. Jai. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for participating in the morning class so steadily, so boldly. We love you. Not everyone is called to drop out like Adipusha Prabhu did, but everyone is called to serve Krishna in whatever capacity you possibly can. Wherever you are, bring Krishna into the picture and everything will be auspicious, and in due course of time, you'll get fired. But the devotees will be there. They'll take care of you. The devotees will take care of you. Don't worry. Okay. Hare Krishna.